Hi, everybody, and greetings on this Tuesday. Don't think I have to tell you what day of the month it is. I will. It's the 22nd, and you know what that means. Counting down to Christmas. We've got a great deal of news to try to get in before we do so, and that is leave you for the holidays. On tonight's program, the McGoffin County Board of Education meeting, and also the Sagerville City Council meeting from last night. Two other reports that I'm pushing off to the latter part of the program in an effort to try to get them completed. The meeting held at the Johnson County Board of Education last evening in regards to addressing the developments with the prayer and school situation that has developed there, and we're also trying to get, I don't think we will tonight, but trying to get the wraps on the story about the Sagerville daycare facility, which is closing as a result of the road being widened in the Restaurant Row area, and of course further on to the east on 114. But we will be focusing on that and trying to help those folks find a solution to that situation, and much more news to try to work in before I leave you for Christmas. As far as, and we're not leaving you tonight, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope to have some holiday related news. I've got to do some Christmas shopping sometime. Nevertheless, record warmth all the way through and past Christmas into the weekend, threatening record highs and record lows as well, which was that record high and lows, if you will. The Jackson office is right now staring at their fourth latest measurable snowfall yet. That means, from what I understand, what they tell me is that if it snowed today, tiny bit, it would be their fourth latest measurable snowfall. Well, we know that's not going to happen. So here's how it looks. The top three latest dates that they had a measurable snowfall are as followed. December the 23rd, which would have been tomorrow's date, back in 98, they recorded 0.05 inches of snowfall, just enough to say it was measurable. Well, on the 24th, 12/24, it was 1990, where they recorded 0.3 of an inch. On December the 29th of 01, they recorded 1.2 inches of measurable snowfall. I think we're pretty much going to blow by all of those, and this indeed is going to be their latest measurable snowfall ever on record. So, a lot of warm air to deal with. It's not to say we won't see some snow. It might be a strong end of January. We'll have to wait and see, but as of right now, we're talking about the potential for some severe weather via some storms tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, and some potential rainfall amounts that could cause some flooding situations, and yes, warm air and daytime highs ahead of Christmas Day for the next 2 days, tomorrow and Christmas Eve, which have gone past the 70-degree mark. I'll tell you more about that in just a few moments. McGoffin County Board of Education met in regular session just days ago. Several items on the agenda. One item that was also discussed, which works its way into another report, is that of GEDs taken across the state of Kentucky and how they're not being taken as often, and those that are taking them are not passing them due to some more stringent testing methods that went into effect last year. And while that was not the reasoning or the motivation, if you will, behind the discussion last night by the McGoffin County Board of Education or the other night by the board, it was the fact that they've got some money left over to hire some additional teachers to help with the adult education program. That will certainly be a benefit to at least folks in the local area who are trying to or who are going to try to take a tougher GED. Director of Finance Kevin Owens updated the board on some state funds left over in the adult education program, funds that, if not utilized, will have to be given back. Enough funding to add an additional part-time educator to the program for a significant amount of time. The adult education program through the McGoffin County school system has one person who serves as supervisor and a teacher, basically two part-time positions making up a full-time position, and another part-time employee, instructors who help with those who want to obtain their GED. The new hiree, as is the situation with current hirees, has to have a teaching certificate. Thus, they were going to look at the possibility of hiring a retired educator to the part-time position. And given the fact, says Superintendent Holbrook, that the state has increased the requirements, making it harder to get a person's GED as of late, the extra instruction will help those who wish to seek their GED. He also says that the adult education program has a very good success rate in helping those who wish to do so obtain their GED certificate. Next, construction manager Bill Cobb updated the board on ongoing projects, saying the gymnasium for the newly constructed high school is falling a little more behind due to the weather conditions, and that they may have to finish the gymnasium structure after the official start of school, but he still said that it will not affect any classes, that the school building in and of itself will be completed well before the start of school and within enough time for them to move into the new facility for the beginning of next school year. He said that the entire facility was dried in with the exception of the gym, and they were hopeful of having the gym dried in by next month in January or by the end of January. As for the athletic complex, the fields are finished, that being the baseball and softball field. They are working on some netting and bleachers, the netting to make it safer for spectators, those walking around the fields in case of any fly or air balls. And construction is also continuing, weather permitting, on the concession and restroom facility. And I learned a little bit about the parking situation for the new facility. Superintendent Holbrook says that the back lot will have right at 100 parking spaces, with 50 to 60 spaces available in the front. And there are also 2 smaller lots for the new McGoffin County High School that will be installed just to the left of the gymnasium. In some other administrative reports, Brian Conley, the Director of Pupil Personnel, outlined their ongoing efforts to combat tardiness and truancy, saying that right now, district-wide, they have about a 92% attendance rate. They're still working hard to try to see that increase. They have seen some modest, although significant increases, with the most being in the high school level. He believes that because of the involvement of the court system.
As far as inroads that we are making on some of the truancy work that we are doing in the district, the biggest impact has been at the high school. We're running at nearly 1% higher than we did last year at the high school. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I like to think it is based on the work that we're doing. I think the inroads are made quicker there because I have a quicker route into the court system with high school. And we've got over 70 potential candidates to refer to the courts. As of tomorrow, 28 referrals will have been made to the CBW. We are making some grounds in the elementary schools, but it's just a longer process, simply because we have to, it's a curvy road into the court system with the elementaries, because we're involved in social services. We have social services that is working with us. They open up cases, but it's a longer process in doing some of those things.
Later, Superintendent Holbrook addressed a tax bill. He said the first that he had seen come to a school system, including McGoffin, in his nearly 40 years, but a bill for more than $84,000, a bill which was determined to be against the school system and also a nonprofit, both of which are technically operating under a nonprofit status, that it was determined that they didn't have to pay, but would require their attorneys to go through the proper paperwork to alleviate.
I've been in education 37 years, and we got a property bill for the other day in the mail. We got one here for $84,000, $1,600, and $367, and it's made out to McGoffin County Real Properties Incorporated, 109 Gardner Trail, which is a nonprofit within the Board of Education. And I called, checked it on us a little bit, did a little thing on it, and we don't have to pay it. But I just want to know, I kind of figure out why we got it. And I was told that these Real Property Investment Group started in 2000 by Bill Clinton. And we're the first school, we broke a new record, we're the first school in the state of Kentucky to ever get a bill for taxes. But our attorney, Mr. Seifert, said we don't have to pay it, and he's working it out with the PBA office. So I thought I'd make y'all aware of it.
Holbrook also asked the board and the audience to keep their chairman, Bill May, in their thoughts and prayers as May is continuing to battle a long-withstanding illness. With the exception of going into executive session for a brief moment and no action being taken, the only other item of business I have was a suggestion made by Assistant Board Chairman Rodney Ward, as he suggested to the board that they consider over the holidays rotating their meeting site among all schools in the Magoffin County District, something they said they would take up in their next meeting. Going back to a statement that I didn't add on there before the break concerning the Magoffin County Board of Education, while their efforts to see more personnel, another part-time teacher added to the adult education program, to see that done because they have some extra funding that they can use toward that and basically nothing else, it is something that will be well warranted. As we hear today that the number of those taking and or passing their GED examination has dropped dramatically. We're talking to the tune of 80% in 1 year. Going back to the GED situation as was referred to there in the meeting, fewer people in the state of Kentucky are getting their GED because the test has gotten a lot harder. It is computer-based, and the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy says that the General Economic Development, or High School Equivalency Exam, the GED for short, was updated last year. It was done so in order to reflect the college and career-ready standards that are set for our current high school graduates. GED diploma attainment rates in Kentucky have dropped, and I don't mean by a little either, but for example, for the fiscal year, between fiscal year 2014 and 2015, since the test got harder, 77% GED attainment rates have dropped nearly 80% after the test was changed in 2014. That means that 7,083 GED graduates in the year before went to the year after 1,663 due to those changes. So the efforts done by the school system, of course, will be well warranted and apparently needed. More local news and other information after these words. Our other top headlines pending right now: coverage of last night's regular session of the Sagersville City Council. Several items, including a $500,000 loan proposed by the Sagersville Water Works in an effort to make many repairs and expand their infrastructure, as well as, and I'll call it only a glimmer of hope at this time, in regards to the loss of the Joy mining facility, as of course that property sits vacant. The mayor says there has been at least a little interest, maybe not expressed towards it, but the possibility of it being used, being promoted to at least one outside company. First, seeking approval of payment of the bills. That resulted in some discussion about two banknotes that the city has and pays on a monthly basis. The purchase of some supplies last month, or for the last 2 months, the cost of some vehicle maintenance, and the purchase of some Christmas decorations and lights. In the end, all voted in favor of payment of the bills, with the exception of Councilman Tommy Bailey. Next was the second reading of the updated business license ordinance, as was proposed by the Sagersville City Council, which listed some more categories that any prospective business might fall under. It also increased the fee to the tune of about 50% across the board. Again, all voted in favor, with the exception of Councilman Tommy Bailey, who voted no. Next, Sagersville Waterworks Commissioner David Gardner made a presentation before the council seeking a resolution for approval of the Sagersville Waterworks to apply for $550,000 in state funding in the form of a low-interest loan at an estimated 0.75%. The loan to purchase an estimated 300 grinder pump stations and extend sewer service to some 17 customers to the county garage area on Route 30, and purchase a small excavator to allow some more in-house construction. The grinder pumps being bought with the money they would save on what Gardner says was repeated repair of many of the 427 that are used to pump sewage from city residences and businesses.
The greatest portion of that funding is to allow us to purchase a significant number, I think is 300 grinder pumps, to go into the individual home lift stations, the individual stations, you know, at each home. What's happening now is that it's costing us somewhere $5,000 and more per month to purchase either new ones or to purchase parts to repair the old ones. And we just feel like at this point it's wiser for us to just go ahead and purchase a bunch of them and use the money that it's costing us to repair to buy new ones than it is just to keep repairing the old ones. The old ones are at this point about 10, I think it's 10 years old at least, 10 to 12 years old, and they're starting to fail. That's the life of them, and they're starting to fail. So what we want to do is, instead of buying half a dozen a month at a higher rate. We want to buy a bunch of them. And in order to pay the loan off, we will take the money that we're paying for the parts and repair of the old ones and take that money and apply it to paying off the loan.
Gardner says currently the Sagersville Waterworks is paying about $1,400 for each new pump, but if they bought them in bulk at some 300 in quantity, the price would come down to about $1,000 each. He estimates the loan payment would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,500 a month, and that they're currently spending more than that on parts, just parts without labor each month, and trying to keep up the current grinder pumps. And he's hopeful that they might be able to get some of that funding, some of that loan forgiven by the state, and not have to pay it all back. In the mayor, we'll be wrapping up City Council coverage in just a moment with the mayor's report and some discussion about at least maybe a little interest expressed in the Joy mining facility. I'll be right back. Now we'll wrap up City Council coverage with a few remarks in the mayor's report and a question posed about the Joy mining facility, shuttered for the past few weeks. Port Shepherd said that they'd received the last of the FEMA money in regards to natural disasters, the tornado and flooding, the Ramey Park and the Coal Branch area. They'd received a $2,500 donation to the upkeep of the Bluegrass Cemetery from the estate of Frances Binge, the daughter of Ritt Hackworth. The mayor also added that they'll be meeting very soon, that being representatives of the city and state and others, with property owners along Restaurant Row, as the relocation of utilities and other construction work there is getting ready to begin. And lastly, a question posed by Councilwoman Mary Ann Ward sparked some interest in what we hope will become some good news for the city of Sagersville. You may recall my confirming on the program a few weeks ago that indeed a rumor, and it was just that, proved to be a rumor and false, had been circulating widely about the purchase of the Joy Global facility by Toyota Manufacturing. While we did, of course, confirm that to be false, the mayor says there has been at least a little interest in the facility in hopes of generating more.
Has anybody discussed anything about the building at Joy Global?
The last thing I seen, it's been put on the internet with the Economic Development Council of Eastern Kentucky. They've got a AEP, and some different businesses are putting up money to put any kind of industrial site or any building that's out there vacant. And they've had some type of gun maker that's interested in looking at it, and they haven't been here yet, but they are interested in it. So it's on the website for that, and they're trying to promote anything in Eastern Kentucky, not just Joy Global, but it is out there. So we're doing that through the Big Sandy Ad Board, and in cooperation with the Big Sandy Ad Board and the Eastern Kentucky Economic Development Council. Like I say, they've got a website, and they've even hired a guy that he's over everything, and he's trying to push all that. He stopped in and seen us here at City Hall one day, and I don't know if he was trying to get up with him to get the specs on the building, how big it was, and all that. So evidently they got it because they did get it on their website.
Now, I followed up with the mayor earlier today to see if he had any more to add, and he can't say for certain how much interest that the company has shown, an unnamed company in the gun manufacturing business, but he does know that it has been proposed to them and promoted to them 2 sites, as you heard him say, in Eastern Kentucky, one of those being our local facility. It's also, of course, as you heard, being included in a push to promote Eastern Kentucky in general, and we're hopeful that it will be attractive to someone for some reason, hopefully sooner than later. The gun manufacturing business, still, like as I said, unnamed, did promise to bring 200 jobs to Eastern Kentucky, wherever it may go, should it decide to even come to this region. A couple of announcements before we leave you with our McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. A reminder from Rumpke, they're running early on the eves. That's Christmas and New Year's Eve. They are running, but early. They'll be off Christmas and New Year's Day, off on the days, but garbage will be collected for those Friday customers on Saturday, the following day. Don't forget about becoming McGoffin's Biggest Loser, the annual weigh down at the McGoffin County Extension Office. They're going to start every Monday, starting on January the 4th. And for 6 weeks, they'll track weight, they'll have recipes to taste, and some optional physical activity. A whole lot of fun as well. If you are interested, call 349-3216. And certainly, if you're interested in a calendar announcement, call me. We'll pass it along so everyone can hear it. And remember, you can catch the show the following day on our website at yournewstoday.com. Turning to funeral service announcements brought to you by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Fred Samuel Mead, 83 of Van Leer, passed away on Monday, survived by his wife Elizabeth K. Brown Mead. He's also survived by daughter Katrina Melvin. Visitation is going to be tomorrow after 1, with services to be held Thursday morning at 11 at the Paintsville Church of Christ. From what I understand, the Preston Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements once again for 83-year-old Fred Mead. 76-year-old Johnny Oscar Wright of Premium, Kentucky, passed away on the 21st. Formerly of McGoffin County, he survived by a son, Stephen Matthew Wright, and daughters Sally Smith, Virginia Bremer, and Ida Wright. Visitation is going to be after 2 o'clock tomorrow and prior to Thursday morning services that'll start at 11, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Johnny Oscar Wright, age 76. And we've also just been informed of the passing of 47-year-old Rhonda Sue Walters Patrick of Sagersville, who passed away on today's date, the daughter of Harold David Walters and the late Judy Jordan Holbrook. The McGoffin County Funeral Home tells me that arrangements are incomplete but being made at this hour. Not only am I out of time, but I'm also just not complete on a couple of reports. One about the Sagersville daycare facility that's going to be closing at the end of the year due to the road widening expansion here in Sagersville. We're putting together some information in hopes of getting out the word and helping those folks find a solution that they've been using and loving that facility for so long. So many people from around the area, as well as the developments last night at the Johnson County Board of Education, where everything appears to have worked out, to, at least for now, to a great degree, with a lot of folks on the same page in regard to the situation with prayer and religion being removed from the Christmas programs. We'll have someone with us in the studio tomorrow to talk about that. So I've just got enough time to wrap it up with your Licking Valley RECC forecast, where it's Christmas and we're talking about severe weather, warm and wet and severe. Tonight, occasional showers. Later on, mainly after 2 a.m., a light southwest wind to accompany, and a low of 55 degrees. A nighttime low of 55 degrees this close to Christmas. And check it out. Temperatures right now looking to spike above 70 tomorrow, with your midweek and the eve of Christmas Eve staring at a 71-degree day, and the nighttime low, if you want to say low, only falling 10 degrees off that mark. We'll see south winds, 3 to 23 mile per hour gust. We will see some showers, and we'll see some storms, possibly see some storms with those showers. So keep that in mind. Mostly cloudy on your Christmas Eve, 72, 52, and the potential still for some more showers and some more storms. Can you believe it? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day is going to be the low point temperature-wise. We'll fall back to the low 60s at 63 and a low of 54. Mostly cloudy with 40 to a 70% chance of showers. That's a lighter chance during the day with a greater chance of showers on your Christmas night. Saturday for your weekend, 71 and 58, cloudy, still a threat of some showers, and more on your Sunday with another 50% threat of showers, more clouds, and more temperatures near the 70-degree mark again on your Sunday. And I'm out of time, so not even close to being out of news. We'll see you back here tomorrow night for more of your news today. Good night, and thanks for watching.